each one of you is how much do you assess yourself as a word user? So hands up anyone who's never used Word at all before. It's perfectly fine to say yes, okay? But what I want to do is set the course at the right level for most people, and if there are people who are really quite advanced in Word, then they probably won't need to do this. So, all right, everyone's used Word before, right? Okay. Anyone think that they're pretty advanced? Has used it for many years? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I don't know your name. Peter. Right. Okay. Can you just tell us how you've used it then?
For my school before, I used to study organization processes and I had exam actually from Word.
Yeah.
Word and Excel with an exam.
Right. Okay.
It was 3.5 years ago. So
Okay, so you may be a bit rusty. Right. Yeah. Now the trouble sitting over there is I'm not sure that you can read what's written on the screen. So it might be better to sit here, or there's one seat next to Debbie over there and two fans. Would that be better? Yeah?
That's fine, I can. But just if you can do
well,
bigger.
That is the problem, isn't
Go
it?
there.
I think. So, probably a very good word user, Peter. Now, I think that's the worst of all, because it's just a glare coming off the light. Actually, what we could do to solve that is to change this. Does that?
No.
No? What about this?
Yes.
Yes.
That does it.
Is that better? Well, I could actually go back to this, or does that make it worse?
It's just a bit on the left.
Yeah? So we'll shut that down.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Can everyone make sure you've signed the register? Today, please. Okay, so most other people then, yeah, how would you describe your abilities in Word?
I've never used it.
You've never really, oh right, okay, so pretty much beginners. Yeah? Who else feels they're a bit like Glenn and that they've not really used Word properly before? Charlie,
Have you used it for assignments?
You've used it for assignments, right. Do you know, for example, how to turn a page sideways? Right, okay. Okay, well then I think we'll hands up anyone else who knows how to turn a page sideways. Yeah? Can you turn one page sideways but not the rest of the document? Right, okay, so there are there's some things there. Right, okay, that's the kind of thing that we want to be able to do. Because, can you just turn these around, Charlie? This is a blank OBC report. And it's available on SharePoint under my name, okay? So, if you've got a report to write, for example, those of you doing business environment, then you can just pick up this, strip out all the rubbish in the middle, and save it as your report, and then start to write your report on one thing. Okay, first of all, what will that do? Why take this rather than a perfectly blank? This is an ordinary. When you open Word, this is what you get, a blank thing with nothing on it there. What would this save you?
Time.
Time in what? What's this got that you want?
It's a template.
It's got a template, it's got a logo on there that saves you having to go and look it up, yeah, okay. You can put in there if you're doing, you know, business environment or whatever, you can put your course in there. The most important thing is your name. It's extraordinary how we still get students who forget to put their name in it, or they put it in little tiny 8-point or something, you know, put it in 24-point, right? Really big, okay? That's the most important thing from the point of view of your of being here when we're marking it, and then put in the title that you've got. So if you've got, you know, business environment or whatever, that would be then assignment 1 or something like that. Okay. Right. Inside here, we have something called a table of contents. Hello, are you joining us?
No, I just here to make an introduction.
Oh, you're here.
myself. Yeah.
Yes. Do you want to come in, Yulia, and just introduce yourself?
Hello guys, my name is Yulia. You can call me Julia. Oh, sorry, I was running.
Yes.
I've been studying here for 5 years in Oxford. I have finished the foundation here, A level. I also was studying here doing HNC, HND course. I finished it very successfully, one of the best. After I went straight to the 3rd year to the Brooks, I finished my
Sorry.
finished my business and management degree, and now currently I'm doing my master's degree in marketing. And I'm here like to help you. I'm doing like kind of student support. If you have any questions like with your studies or with social life or whatever, I will be happy to help you. You can email me or call me, or you can speak with Priscilla or other member of staff. So I will be here on Fridays. With any question, I will be happy. If you come, I will give you advice. Maybe if you're struggling with some subjects.
Any assignments, she's already done them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I finished with distinction profile, so I can help you maybe with assignments. I will not write it for you. I just can give you tips. I can explain you what tutors expect from you. And
And it's free
it's free, yeah.
for you.
So feel free to contact me, see me, always happy, available on Friday, and another day I will just speak with Priscilla about when I will be here. So good luck with your studies.
Thank you. And Julia was one of our best students, and I mean this is like peer-assisted learning at Brooks, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Which is a program at the University of Brooks where students who have passed a course in 1 year, it might be in their 3rd year or 2nd year or whatever, they then say to their new first years who are doing the course, well, if you've got any problems with the course and are not clear what the tutor is expecting or whatever, then come and talk to us. We can tell you what they're expecting. We won't do the assignment for you, but we can give you advice and help. Okay, from someone who remembers what it's like to be where you are. So great help.
Contact me.
So Julia is available. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. Yes. Okay. If you open up this report, one of the things that you will see on the first page inside is a table of contents. It's flipping long, isn't it? Right, okay. But do you think that I typed that up?
No, you edit from...
Yeah, I make the machine work, right? Okay. So this is a command which you've got to know and to use. It's like putting the car in 3rd gear and driving along quite fast. You know, this is what Word can do. This is one of the things that Word can do really well. Okay. Why do we have a table of contents in a report?
This can give us the idea about the whole report at once.
Yes, it tells us roughly what the structure of the report is, and if you're really busy and your boss said, oh, go and look in this report because that's got the answer to something, you know, you don't have to read a socking great report that's like that. You know, it's like going to chapter 5 in a textbook and then 5.3 has got the bit that you want, right? You can just go in and look at it, okay? So that's the purpose of a table of contents. It enables someone to get somewhere very quickly in your report, which assumes, of course, that your report is worth reading in the first place, so let's hope it is. Okay. And then we've got these things in here, headings and so on. Right, let's just have a look through. What do we call this? Yeah, a table, right. Okay, but you notice that that table started there and then carried on over the page. How often do you read a report and you're reading the second page and the vital stuff is here and here, and you wonder what it's referring to if it's got a lot of column headings? So can you automatically repeat the header, the column headings and so on? All right, and then a good report should always have diagrams in it. Okay, make it clear and simple. Okay, we need to put those in. People know how to put diagrams in. It's pretty easy, but you've got to do it properly within Word, because you've got to tell it Word. Now, here we've got a section of the report that's turned sideways. Why do you think we've turned the report sideways? Because the table's like that, isn't it? It's laid out like that. There's a load of words in here, and it's a sort of landscape table. This is called landscape. Anyone know what this is called?
Portrait.
Portrait. Yeah. Okay. So know your signs and then turn it around. Okay. And there we've got a table that repeats, and then we have a conclusion. And then at the back we have. What should you have at the back of a report? And without looking at this one, what should there be at the back of?
References.
So you need your references should be right at the back. Would be the very last thing.
Bibliography.
Right. What's the difference between a reference and a bibliography?
Bibliography is generally it comes from the books, writer, and references like different kinds of website, journals.
Yeah. Yeah. The real difference is you're getting close to it, Charlie. It's that the reference is where you got something from. So if you say the population of Brazil is 300 million people, how do we know that? You know, you might be wrong. You know, I might think, no, I don't think it is 300 million. I think it's only 200 million. Right? So where is your figure? What is your exact source for this? In academic life, where they're interested in who said this. All right, so that's why you've got to, the academic people are saying, who first said this? Whose idea is this? This isn't yours, is it? I hope not. I hope you've been reading some. All right, who have you been reading and why and where? So that should be in the academic side. In business, do we care where ideas come from? If you're actually in business, running a car hire company or something like that, and you're writing a report on should we open a new office in Bicester? Yeah.
Yes.
Care about? No. Only gets the stuff in business where ideas have come from. Come from Karl Marx, it could have come from, you know, a gangster for all we care, Al Capone. You know, we don't care, right, about where ideas come from. What we do care about is data, numbers. So if you're, back to the problem about Brazil, if you say that, you know, the so-and-so market is rising, well, who says the market is rising? On what basis do you say that? Because some other people are saying something different. So we want to get at who's actually telling us the truth. So that's why in business we're interested in references. The bibliography, ignore, forget it. Right? If we just put the textbook or something like that. It's, if you was reading you know, if I was doing a lecture to you and I was a professor who studied a subject for 13 years, you know, water economics is something I have done. I could give you some general books on this would be blah, blah, blah. All right, well, that's what the purpose of a bibliography is, right? Do I want to know what general books? Well, if you want to cite the Bible or the Quran or something like that, that's fine, you know, but, you know, in general, bibliography is a waste of time. The references, on the other hand, are much more important. Okay. What else can we put in here? At the back. We can have appendices, an appendix. Okay, so what is one is called an appendix, right? I don't know if you can read that. Yeah. Okay. What is an appendix?
Something small.
Right?
Something small.
Something small, yes. In fact, we've all got an appendix in here. It's a medical term for some bit of your gum that's in there, all right, which you know, sometimes needs to be removed, yeah. Okay, but in writing reports, an appendix is something near the end, which is additional information on. So, if we were doing a report on the Brazilian car market, and you might want to say, well, the Brazilian car market is twice as big as the Argentinian car market, and then we say, well, what do we know about the Argentinian car market? Well, you might have an appendix on the Argentinian car market, because it's not the main subject. The main subject of your report is the Brazilian car market. But if you want to have a bit of information that's useful about the Argentinian one, you put that in an appendix. If we have more than one, then we have appendix 2, and the plural of these is called appendices. So you have a list of appendices. Right, okay. Is that relevant here? Yes, because we give you quite tight word limits sometimes. So when we say 600 words maximum or 800 words maximum on a section, and you write all good stuff, and then you look at it and think, yeah, but I've written 2,000 words or 1,600 words on it, and I say yes, and you are restricted to 600, what can you do with the other 1,000, which is good stuff? Well, you can put it into an appendix, all right, and say, okay, well, that's supporting evidence. So that's what we put in appendices. It's supporting material for the main report. And if you look at serious business reports like Competition and Markets Authority's report on investigation into supermarkets or something like that, you will find that the report is quite short. It's maybe only 60 pages, and they've got 200 pages of appendices of evidence that they've received, stuff they've looked at, blah, blah, blah. All right, so in a lot of serious business reports, a lot of the really useful stuff is in the appendix, or a lot of the material is, but it is only supporting their main conclusion, which brings us to the word conclusion. So where do we put the conclusion?
Before the references.
Yes, it's at the end of the report, isn't it? Okay, so you should have a conclusion at the end of your report. Okay, so what is your report? So the structure of a report, in general, then how should it begin?
Introduction.
So we've got an introduction. Can you see? Sorry? The main body. Yes, that's right. So, you know, analysis, method, whatever, you know, analysis, results. And then we lead to a conclusion. All business reports should have a conclusion. So what? You've done all this work, so what does it mean for us in a business, or for the government, or for consumers, or whoever? Right, okay. You could then possibly have recommendations as well. So if this was a serious business report in a business, you would say, so I recommend we set up an office in Brazil and establish a business in Brazil. You know, that's your recommendations to the board, and then the board has to make a decision. Are they going to spend this money, set up an office and start off in Brazil? Okay. So then we have appendices, and then finally we have references, plus a biblio if you must have one, but I would forget that. So, all right. If you've got a great long report, what might save you having to read the whole flipping thing? Yes, here we've got a table of contents which sort of tells us the structure, but what else might we introduce?
Glossary.
A glossary of terms. Yes, you can sometimes put in a glossary up here. A glossary means in this document, in this report, we're going to define market share as this, we're going to define profits as that, you know, and there could be many definitions, but the one we're going to use is this. Okay, so that's a technical thing. Yeah? Anything else you might have in a report? Well, you might want someone to read it who doesn't have a lot of time.
Summary?
Yeah. And that some person might be the chief executive, the boss of the whole business. Is the boss of your whole business going to read a report like you that's this fat when they've got 12 other reports to read for this board meeting? To be honest, they're probably not. Okay. So what they want to read is your executive summary. So if it's a long report, if it's more than 4 pages or so, you should have a brief executive summary. And it's got to be very, very brief. Okay. So we don't want you to repeat everything that's in the report, but it should say who it's written, who commissioned it, what you did, what the conclusions were, and this is like 1 sentence each. Okay, so this is really, really condensed. And then what you've included in your recommendations, all right? Okay. Yeah? Yeah.
Why should we put the glossary before the introduction here? Or?
Quite often it is put in, well, it doesn't really matter where you put it, you know, you can...
And summary at the last of the...
No, the executive summary is put right at the beginning. And it's put right at the start. In fact, even before, quite often before the table of contents. You could switch those around. Personally, I wouldn't put the glossary at the front, but lawyers like to put a technical section. Okay. I would put a glossary at the back as one of the appendices, actually. So, well, this is the term I want to use. Okay. Right. But do never. There is an academic word for this. So, in academic life, this executive summary is called an abstract. Okay, so you'll see in published journal articles, things like this, there will be a 25-page article in some serious heavyweight journal, and then there will be 1 paragraph which summarizes the whole of the article. So that's an executive summary in an academic environment. Okay. Everyone happy with that? So this is how we lay out a business report. And of course, if your report is only 2 pages long, you don't need most of that, right? You can just boil it down. For a start, you don't need an executive summary, you don't need a table of contents, your introduction should be 1 line, your analysis is most of the page, conclusions should be 2 sentences. You know, you might have some appendices or whatever at the back, and references should be. Usually start these on a new page in most long reports. And I would also start the appendices on a new page too. Right, okay. So just ways to lay out a report. Right. Okay, Charlie, you might come and sit here. And you're all going to take turns doing this. Charlie is going to start writing a report.
Oh, no.
Yes, you are. So, how's she going to start? Well, let's start with an introduction, shall we? Okay, and then press enter, and then just write blah blah blah. Just any old. That's cool. And right, and then right. Okay, so there's some blah blah in there in her introduction. All right.
Then main body.
Yes. Now, So now let's have, yes, we'll call it context, or background, or something like that. Yeah, or background, yeah, call it. Yeah, all right, context. Yeah, and then blah, blah. Right, okay. If you're writing this stuff, what can we do to make introduction and context stand out? Well,
Bold it or larger.
okay, so for those of you who are not familiar with Word at all, just go and highlight the whole introduction. Yeah, and then you can put it into bold, 16 point, right, okay. You want to do the same for context? Right. Everyone clear about that? Can everyone do that? Right, okay. Right, that's how an awful lot of reports are written, right? However, it's not what we need to do if we're going to write a longer report with various headings in here. I'm sorry it's so hot in here. We do have a... Oh, what's it going with the fan? Yeah. Okay, so I want you to now reverse that. Now, how does she reverse it? Undo. Yes? Anyone know any other words that use that? One of the most useful commands, isn't it? Yeah? So, how do you undo? Someone want to show that or point to it? Yeah, come on. And just explain to everyone what you're doing, okay?
I'm clicking on this symbol.
That symbol up there, right? The little one at the top? Yeah? And now do it again. Yeah? And again. Right, okay. So, one of the most useful things you can learn is the undo button, because we all press buttons by mistake or something like that, something goes wrong, or you delete the whole report. Oh, do not worry, there is an undo button, right? So, before you press save or anything else like that, learn the undo button. Suddenly you've got all your stuff back, all right, okay. So possibly the most useful button on the whole keyboard is the undo button. There's a quick key to using that. Does anyone know you can use a control command? Yeah?
It's CTRL.
Yeah. Z, yes, that's right. Okay, so if we had this here, don't worry, Charlie, you'll be back here.
You'll be back.
And so I've got this, and so I've got it in bold, and you see that there. I can just change this to be, 24 point or whatever, okay? But alternatively, if I go back and I undo this, and I say I only want it to go up one size, then that's what that little command does. So that's taking it up from 12 to 14 to 16, and so on, all right, okay, or you can shrink it back down. Okay. So that's one way to do it. If I want to have a proper heading though, I'm going to actually undo this. Oh, sorry, Control Z we were going to say, wasn't it? Yeah, okay. That's on the keyboard, the control button, and then Z, and that is the same as undo. That's quite quick to do. Anyone know any of these other quick keys that we use? Control C, Control V. Okay, so that's just okay, let's just go through some of these quick ones because they do save me a lot of time. So Control Z equals undo. Right, and you can repeat that. Control C, what does that do? Copy. Yeah.
Control S.
All right, well, I'll do Control S. Control S is what? Save. Yeah, that's a vital one. if suddenly the phone rings and you want to save the work that you've done, Control S and then answer the phone. Okay. All right. What's Control V?
Paste.
That's a paste one. So quite often that's quite useful. Control X. That means cut. All right. So just delete it. Right. But you could press delete as well at the same time. Okay, but I mean, if you actually just want to move the whole chunk of text from here down to here, and then Control X, and then you can easily move it around. Okay. So you can easily move a paragraph of stuff, well, either with the mouse or with one of these controls. Any other ones that we're missing from that? Any controls? All right. These are quite useful just to save you a bit of time. Or when you've copied something that's a lot of stuff. You can, of course, where do I find copy? Up here, if I want it, or paste. Top left. Yeah, so in home, and there's copy, cut, and paste, all right? Okay, we'll talk about those. Right, I'm going to undo some of that. Just return that there. Now, shall we? I'd like you to make this a heading 1, please. So you highlight the bit, and you just press heading 1. Right? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Can everyone else see what you've just done? Right? Okay. So now, she's forgotten most respect. So treat her gently. Yeah. Right. Okay. It can happen to any of us. Right. Okay. Do the same for context. And then in the context, let's imagine we're writing, I don't know, a report on the Brazilian car market. Okay. Well, what some of our headings might be on the Brazilian car market. So, what might we want to know fundamentally about the Brazilian car market? Supposing we're a car company and we're thinking about expanding into South America, and so we've done this, we're going to commission this report on the Brazilian car market, right? To think whether we should set up a big office and a dealership in there, and then possibly even some factories. Okay, what would we need to know about the car market then? What are some of the things that we might
Location?
well, the car market means the number and types of people who buy cars in Brazil. All right, so it's the
Population.
So, well, yes, we might want to know how many car buyers there are and things like that. We might also want to know how much money is in this. I mean, we're in business, aren't we? So actually, we can put, you go to, now put value of market. Okay, so that's, you're stuck in caps, right, okay, yeah. Right. No, you see, it comes up to what you're thinking. Value of market. Right, okay, and then you put down there, and you put some stuff in there, right? Okay. Now what else might we have as a...
Subheading?
Yes, what we're looking at is subheadings of the Brazilian car market. So what are we interested in if we're a big, I say we're a Chinese car company and we've got a nation subsidiary and we've set up something in Europe and now we're thinking about Latin America. What else might we want to know? Well, this tells us that the Brazilian car market is, $60 million or whatever it is, $1 billion probably. All right. What else might we be interested in? Some other headings. Well, how many cars there are in Brazil and how many cars are sold each year might be useful, mightn't it? Okay. So let's put in a heading, volume of the market. That is how many units, how many cars are sold, right? Volume of market, yeah. Yeah. Okay, and then do return and put some blah blah blah. Right, okay, yeah.
That's the word.
And again, yeah.
Huge fish.
Right, what else might we want to know? Well, we might want to know the growth rate. Is it growing or is it shrinking? After all, do we really want to go into a shrinking market? Okay, so put growth. A heading or growth rate, yeah. Right. Yeah, and some stuff. Right, okay. And then we might want to know, who are the competitors?
Other car companies.
The other car companies were already in it, weren't we? Yeah, okay.
The competitors?
Yeah, so competitors. Yeah, okay, there's a P there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, oh, I can't do that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Good. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then what are we going to have? Well, we'll have some, we'll have a main heading now, which is going to be costs of setting up. Okay. So if we're going to set up an office and an organisation to sell our cars in Brazil, cost of setting up. Yeah. Okay. And blah blah blah. So we've got some stuff. Okay. And then what are we going to have? We'll have a big heading.
Customer target? Target customer?
Yes, that's a great yes. Who are we going to target? Who would our target market be? Yeah, target customers. Yeah, that'll do. Blah blah blah. Okay. And then we'll have some conclusions, shall we? Yeah. Right. Okay. Now, this value of the market, the volume of the market, the growth rate, are all subheadings of the context. So what should we do there to make them clear that they are subheadings?
Indent?
Yes.
Where?
What?
Indent.
Event?
Indent.
Indent. Well,
Where is it?
yeah, it doesn't have subheading, subtitle no. Try heading 2. Yeah? And that one is a heading 2. Yeah. Yeah. But competitors are heading 1. And cost of setting up is a heading 1. And then target customers. Okay. That's a heading 1. But and conclusion is a main heading, isn't it?
Another heading.
Yeah, that's another main heading. Heading 1. Okay. Right. Okay. Did that doesn't seem to look any different.
Yeah.
Oh no, these are heading 1. Okay. Right. And let's say under volume of the market, right? So we've got that. All right. Let's suppose there are 2 kinds of cars that we're interested in: petrol cars and diesel cars. Okay. So can you have a heading there, petrol cars?
Another point.
Well, just put petrol cars. And then blah blah blah. And then another heading, diesel cars.
What is this?
D-I-E-S-E-L. Diesel cars. Right, okay, now these are, what are these then? They're a subheading of the volume of the market, isn't it? Because we'd like to know how many petrol cars there are being sold and how many diesel cars there are. So these are a heading 3. Heading 3. Right, okay, is this all clear to you? Now, can you go up to the top again? And before introduction, yeah. Now, can you go back up there? Now, do you notice, I want you all to notice something here. She pressed return here, Charlie, right? So it knows that this is a heading 1, isn't it? But we were, sorry, what happened there? Right, okay, there. Can you see what it's saying up here? Is it live or?
It's not now.
Right, okay. So what does it say up here that this is? Where the cursor is?
Start paragraph.
No. I don't know if you can read that up here, but it says heading 1. So you've got to be careful with these things, heading 1, because we're now in a heading 1. Can you therefore turn that back to normal? So how do you do that?
Normal.
Well, highlight the line. So one thing to do is to highlight it like that. Let me show you another way, which is to take your cursor, around this side, and just go into the margin here. You notice how it changes. The cursor here is like an eye, right? If you go to the left-hand side here, the cursor changes to an arrow. That means then that you can highlight the whole of that line. Right, now, you come back here, and how can she turn this back into normal text, ordinary body, the ordinary stuff?
Normal.
Yeah, click on the normal there. Okay, so quite often you find yourself when you're doing this stuff with headings and things, you have to go back and make sure that you're in normal. Right, okay, there. Right. So I'd like a table of contents now, please, of this report, shall we? So, anyone help her? Let's make Word, let's make this computer work.
Review.
Well, have a look at some of these tabs along the top then. Try it, alright, you can try View. Is that going to help? Click on that.
Insert. Go to insert.
Go to Insert. Have a look along here. Do any of those help us?
Table.
Right. It doesn't seem to say, there's this table, but I think that will be one of these tables.
Oh, right.
I know it will be. A table like that. Right, so if you want to insert a table like that, that's that table command. Okay. Okay, well, try another tab. There we have it. Right, on page layout, there's table of contents. Right, press the button. And there you got a choice, go for number 1. Right. So it's generated that completely automatically. Okay. So that looks neat, it looks nice, and you don't have to fiddle around with it. Right, now let's imagine, let's go down here, and here you are writing a whole load of stuff about diesel cars, okay? Right, so
one of the details.
yeah. So you go, blah, blah, blah. And you've written loads of stuff. Right, okay, blah, blah, blah. Right, okay. Right, how do we put a page number in then? Okay.
Use the header and footer.
Yes, that's right. So up here, there's header, footer, and page. Oh, I must be careful. Yeah, right, okay. So we can put in a page number. Where do you want the page number? Yeah, that's the first thing it's going to ask you, isn't it? Well, in general, we could put it at the top, we could put it at the bottom. In European conventions, and I know it's different in Arabic and in Chinese and Japanese too, but we tend to put it on the right-hand side, and either at the top or the bottom. For OBC, let's just say we'll use it at the bottom right-hand corner. Okay, so bottom of page, now you're on the top of the page there. Bottom of page, there we are. You can have it in the middle or on the right-hand side. There you are, that's fine. That'll do. And there we have it, right? So it automatically does that for us. Right, now just go back up to the top. Oh yes, what about if we wanted something at the top here? Right, for example, you could put your name there, right? Or you could put, Charlie's business environment assignment, couldn't you, up there? Okay? Yeah? So you go into header, and then you can just type in there, on that, and you can just put some blah blah blah, okay, right, and then close header and footer, and that takes you out of the header and footer zone, so it takes you out of this bar here and turns you back into the text. Okay, right. Now let's go back to the table of contents. Is this still correct?
No,
No, why not?
because I changed the page number.
You've written some more guff on diesel cars, haven't you? Yeah. Right. Okay. And so the growth rate and all this stuff is not correct. Yeah. What we've stumbled upon here is where Word doesn't automatically update the whole document. Okay. So this happens, right, in Word. It's going to be too complicated if it automatically has to redo this. Because you might have added, another 7 pictures and drawn some more stuff here, and it's all got a hell of a lot more complicated. Right, what can we do about this? Well, there's a little grey thing up there. What does that say? Can you read that? Because a lot of them can't read. It's quite small.
Update table.
Update table. Right, so click on that. Now just hold on and just have a look at the options so that everyone sees what you can do. So you can update the page numbers or update the entire table. Alright, let's do the whole table then. Click on that. And there we are. You see it's automatically updated. Right, what you should be doing now, what should we be doing now if you're writing on a real Word document? Save, yes, absolutely do that. You need to have saved it. So, in fact, you should really do it, I always suggest, right at the beginning. When you open the new document, I mean, for example, I want you to use this, it will be on SharePoint. So you go into SharePoint, Mark Hull, you open up this document, and then the first thing you should do would be to load it, to save it as in your area, right, on OVC or on a memory stick or wherever you want to save it, right? So save it as, Chowley Business Environment, right? Okay, whatever you want to call the file, but something useful and helpful, right? That's the first thing to do. And then go about changing it, stripping out all the rubbish that you don't want and putting in all the good stuff, including your name, right? Okay. So you can do that. Okay, everyone happy with that? Yeah. Right, well we've got most of the things there. We've got page numbers, we've got headings, we've got subheadings and things like that. It's very clear here, that this is the main heading, context, this is the value of the market. Volume of the market then has subheadings of petrol and diesel cars. Yeah, okay, and we can see the whole structure of our report coming up to us there. Good.
Double space or
I think whatever looks nicest. Some people are very fussy. What I would urge you, please, print on the back. Right? Some people insist on only printing on the front. Oh, it's such a waste of paper. It's not just a waste of paper, but also it's a lot lighter to carry this. This is half the weight of if it's only printed on a thing. So do make sure when you're setting up your document and with your printing too, it's a printing option, isn't it? So how do we, that? So how do we print a document?
file.
Yeah. File, print, press that. Then let's imagine we were on that one. But then you can go, if you go to here, it says print one-sided, right? So go and change that. Now it depends. How many of you have access to a double-sided printer at home? If you're doing it at home. Not so many. They're quite rare to find now. I've got one, but you have to hunt to find these double-sided printers. They always say, oh, you can turn the paper over. Yeah, right now. We're all going to turn the paper over and do all that kind of thing. So, if you want to print it out here, all the printers are double-sided, as they should be in any group. And then there you are. You just come out like that. Okay, don't cancel that. Okay. And there's, we can see it. Okay, do you want to cancel that?
I didn't say, okay, I'm going to disconnect that.
No, it's only going to cancel the print. It's not going to close the document.
Oh, okay.
So just close that.
I can.
Close that. Oh, sorry. Right, okay. Right, okay, cancel that. Right, okay. Right. We've got quite a lot of this done. Now, all clear? Any questions so far? What else might we want to have in a report then to make it look fancy and neat?
No.
So you can go and download this. You can strip out all of this stuff and put in your name and the thing. You can, if you remove these headings, then of course, you know, the table of contents will change when you update the table of contents. That's fine. Do have a look through. There's some interesting or useful things to learn about reports from here. How we put a table in or a picture. All good reports should contain some pictures in business, in my view, anyway. So let's go down into the document. Yeah, let's imagine here we are writing some stuff about diesel cars or something. Right? Okay. Yeah, just down here. Yeah. Okay. How do we put in a picture?
Yeah, pictures.
So what kinds of pictures can we put in here? So we can go on to the internet and just pick up a picture of a diesel car, if that's what we want. Right, okay. I don't think the average car company would be very impressed with that. But what you might want to say is, what does the car market look like for petrol and diesel cars? Okay, we could have, what's this kind of diagram called?
Pie chart.
Yeah, so we could have something like petrol, diesel, something else they have in the Brazilian car market is biofuels cars. So these are cars that just run on biofuels. Okay. Right, supposing you want to put in a pie chart like that, how did we do that here?
Yeah, chart.
Yes. Chart. Hold on, just explain what you're doing so that everyone. All right.
Yeah, we can choose what type of chart.
Yeah, so let's just choose a chart pie.
So here the pie, the
Right.
style. What
Yeah. Let's have a pie like that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you can put the numbers and the comments here.
Okay. So now let's put, instead of first quarter, let's put, go down.
Where, sorry?
Yeah, there. Put petrol. Right. Instead of second quarter, let's put diesel. Instead of third quarter, let's put biofuel. Oh, sorry. It's bio, B-I-O.
Sorry.
It's bio like biological.
Oh,
Yeah. B-I-O fuel. And let's put electric. I suppose there's some electric cars in Brazil.
Or red diesel.
Or what?
Red diesel.
Red diesel, the agricultural vehicles. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Okay, right. Well, I will tell you that the market share of petrol cars in Brazil is what? 40%. Yeah? Okay. Diesel is what?
32.
32%. Yeah, there's the man in there. 32%. Right? Okay. Biofuel is 20%. And electric is the rest.
8.
It's 8, I think, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Okay. Good. Okay, so you can close that. I don't like these colours. So if you don't like the colours, change them. It's the work of a moment to change them. Also, imagine that you've only got a black and white printer. If I print that in black and white, what's it going to look like?
ash, black and white. Ash black.
It's all going to look greyish, isn't it? And I'm not going to be able to tell what's petrol, what's diesel, what's biofuel. So just take a bit, if you're going to include a diagram in there, make it a good one, right? And this is where attention to detail matters. So if we were particularly interested in biofuel, what could we do to highlight that? Because we're a Chinese company and we don't make any biofuel cars. So we've got to think about this, because if that's...
Green would be a good colour.
yes, well, green, okay. But, all right, let's make it green. So go there with your cursor, right click, format data series. Right, I think we've got too many, I think we've actually highlighted too much here. That's it. Format data point, right? You see the fill there?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this one?
Yeah, click on that, fill. Oh, let's, we wanted it a green. Right, we wanted a green. Yeah, but don't use that. Use a dark green. Why? Because that will stand out if you print it in black and white. So if someone views it online, it will still look as green, right? But think about how this will print out in black and white. Because you might print off a nice copy in colour, and that goes to the top person. But if I can bet you that somebody somewhere along the line will probably photocopy this damn thing, or print it out in a black and white printer, and then all your nice thoughts about the colour scheme and so on is completely wasted, because it's all in black and white and grey. Okay? So how could we now do the diesel? Right, so we've got to click on that, you right click, fill. So supposing we're really interested in that market, what can we do? Well, we can make it black, say, but, oh, no, sorry, can you just right click it again? Yeah. Now, fill again. Now, hold it there. There are more options here. You see this one, texture. So it's black is fine, but see texture? Right, or, no, we have patterns, right, okay, let's try. All right, well, you know, gradient. Right, okay, there aren't, it used to be you could have dots and dashes and straight lines and things like that. It depends which version of Word you're running as to what you can do. All right, well, let's do that. Okay, at least we can tell that that's diesel, right? So long as we don't use that kind of texture for anything else, right? Okay. And then we can make electric. How can we draw 8%?
Also, the electric that you've got just doesn't make sense. 40% you put in.
Yeah, let's just go back to you double click here and then double click left with the left button. We should get the data point up.
Edit data.
Edit data, yeah. Electric is 8%.
Now it's correct. But
Now it's
I
correct.
think I should hit enter.
Right, okay, so we can close that. Now it's correct. All right, well that was an interesting thing. Right, okay, good, okay. Now, let's say we finish monkeying around with our picture. It's nice, we're happy with it. Good, okay, what do we do? So, well, you are in the picture at the moment. You can come out, okay? And now we're back in the Word document and it's got a nice picture in, but it's missing something.
Caption.
It's missing a caption, yes. We can either put the caption at the bottom or at the top. Let's put it at the top, just for argument's sake, okay? Okay. No? Okay.
There's no.
I tell you what, Charlie, let's have somebody else come. Have a go. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. You know, I'm just sharing it out a bit between other tutors. But if you need to borrow my spec.
It's not.
Not your eyes, no. Okay. Right, we need a caption up here. A heading, right? A heading for our picture. Why? Why should we have a heading for our picture?
It describes what type of, what is related the top piece or?
It should describe the picture, yes, but why do we want to describe the picture? It's not as if we have a paragraph of text and then a little heading. that
Draw
describes
someone's attention to it.
It's to draw attention to it, but also, how many times have you ever skimmed a report and you're just going, well, that's an interesting picture. Right, and you want to know what the picture is of, right? It's a caption, that's why. So, it's because, supposing that person is the boss, the big boss, right? And they're flicking through your report, they've read the executive summary, they want to see what it's through, and they haven't got the time, they'd like to have the time, but they don't have the time to read your report properly. They want to know what your pictures are, what your table is, and things like that. So every picture or table should have a heading at the front, which is called in Word a caption. So where are we going to find a caption for this?
Insert there.
Try insert, yeah? And let's have a look. Do we see, the header and footer is up here, that's not right, is it? Try design. No, that would be if we want to have it all in column of text or things like that. Try page layout. Or references. References. Anything that helps her then? Insert caption. Yes. Okay. So, figure 1, types of car sold in Brazilian market. Sold in Brazilian market. Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. In Brazil. Just for Brazil. Yeah. Great, okay. Right, okay. That's right. Sold would mean you're putting the sole of the shoe on it, right? Okay, that's great. Okay. So there we have it, and that's how every picture. So every picture that you put into a report should have, be nice and clear, big, this one is. It should have a heading. Personally, I would like that to be a bit bigger and bolder, wouldn't you? Okay, can you highlight it? All of that.